Welcome back to a journey of powerful, quiet strength. Strength that does not scream or demand attention, but leaves a lasting impression on the hearts of those who witness it. You know exactly what I mean, don't you? It is the kind of silent, unwavering resolve that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. You've given everything you had, haven't you? You've bent over backward, shelved your own priorities, sacrificed your dreams, just to make them see your true worth. You've done everything in your power to be there for them, hoping that, eventually, they would understand the depth of your feelings. You've been the one who's always there, at their beck and call, never saying no, never asking for anything in return. But in the end, what did you receive? They treated you as a convenience, a mere footnote, instead of the important person you were. You poured out kindness like an endless stream, hoping that one day they would notice, appreciate, and care. But what did you get in return? They took every ounce of care you gave, every act of kindness, and cast it aside without a second thought, never once showing gratitude or recognition. You gave, yet they treated your devotion as an obligation rather than a treasure. You tried everything to bridge that gap, to reason with them, to perhaps even beg for a mere shred of acknowledgement. But each attempt only made you feel more invisible, as if your value was something they were too blind, too careless, or too comfortable to see. You kept giving and giving, yet it only seemed to make you fade more into the background. It was as if they grew numb to your presence, indifferent to your heart, and the harder you tried, the less you seemed to matter. And then you realized it. Nothing was going to change. You were left with one option, the most powerful card in your hand: silence. So you chose to fade away, to let the noise die down, and to stop filling their world with your presence. No more late-night texts, no more calls, no more little reminders that you were there, hoping, waiting. It was as though you vanished, leaving only silence in your wake. And that silence, it was more deafening, more powerful than anything you could have said. Now they are left grappling with a world without you, a world where the warmth they took for granted has disappeared. They may try to act normal, putting on that brave, indifferent face in public, pretending that nothing has changed. But inside, that silence is tearing them apart. Each unfilled moment, each notification that doesn't pop up with your name, reminds them of what they threw away. Behind closed doors, they are haunted by your absence. They might even feel the urge to reach out, to call, to cry. But their pride keeps them locked in silent regret. They replay the moments they took you for granted, seeing every memory in a new light now that it's too late. This silence is not weakness, it is strength, a force that communicates your worth without saying a word. It is power, the power to step out of the shadows of dependency on others and into the light of independence and freedom. The silence you chose is not an act of surrender or defeat. It is a deliberate decision, a refusal to continue enduring neglect and disregard. You have been there too long, sacrificing too much without receiving anything in return. Now, this silence is not weakness. It is a declaration that you deserve the respect, attention, and love that you have shown others. They will begin to feel your absence with each passing day, when every time they seek comfort, they realize that you are no longer there to respond. The emptiness you left behind cannot be filled by fleeting distractions or temporary pleasures. They will come to understand that it is your absence they must face. This is when they will begin to feel the true power of silence. As long as they refuse to face the feeling of missing you, they will never comprehend the role you played in their life. This silence forces them to confront themselves, their mistakes, and the negligence with which they treated you. Those who once overlooked you will soon realize that they cannot fill the void left by you with anyone else. And you, through this silence, will become an insurmountable challenge for them. They must learn to face the true loss and understand that if they cannot overcome it, it reflects a fundamental flaw in their affections. In time, your silence will transform into an undeniable message. If they truly care, it will drive them to return, to seek reconciliation, to correct their wrongs. But if they continue to ignore you, then that will signal the end. You have given them the opportunity, but if they fail to recognize it, you are truly free. This is liberation. Freedom does not come from having someone else in your life. It comes from realizing your own worth. When you understand that you can live without anyone to validate your existence, that is when you truly step into a new chapter of your life. They may continue to try and fill the void with other relationships, but it will only deepen their sense of emptiness. They will come to realize that no one can replace you, and your silence will be the final lesson they must learn. You no longer need to worry whether they will recognize it. Your silence has given them enough time to reflect and face the truths they have long avoided. Whether they return or not, you have freed yourself from the shadows of dependence on others. Remember that in your silence, you found the strength to walk alone. You no longer need the approval of anyone else. You are now fully self-sufficient, and this freedom will guide you to a life of greater meaning, one that is built on the values you set for yourself. And now you will no longer worry about whether others see your worth. You have learned to value yourself, and the most important thing is that you no longer wait for validation from others. Continue this journey, for you deserve everything that life has to offer. This is when you will realize an important truth. The silence you chose is not an end, but a beginning. By stepping back, you are not abandoning them. You are simply allowing them to face reality. Your absence is the profound lesson they need to learn. It is an opportunity for them to reflect on themselves, to understand that affection cannot be forced, and that appreciation must be nurtured from both sides. They may try to fill the void you left with other relationships, but this will only make the emptiness more apparent. These relationships cannot replace you because you were once the source of comfort, the person they turned to when life became difficult. And when they begin to feel your absence, when they realize that no one else can replace you, that is when they will be forced to confront the truth. It is your absence that will open the door to their growth. Sometimes people can only change when faced with loss. Your silence is a trial, forcing them to confront themselves, to ask what they did wrong and whether they have the strength to change. You have given them the opportunity to recognize this. But if they cannot overcome it, if they cannot face the truth about themselves, that is when you will know that your silence was not weakness, but the strength that freed you from dependency on them. You created space for yourself, a space to grow and rediscover your own worth. And if they cannot realize this, if they continue to live in denial, you will know that you made the right choice. You are not the one who will change them, but your silence has created the opportunity for them to awaken to the truth. You gave them the chance, and if they fail to grasp it, it is no longer your responsibility. At this point, you will feel a sense of relief, a freedom that not everyone gets to experience. You have done all that you could. You have given your all, but now you understand that self-respect and inner strength are what you need to continue your journey. You have learned not to let the presence of others define your worth. This does not mean you do not love them, but it means you understand that love and appreciation must come from both sides. And when you respect yourself, you will attract healthy relationships with those who truly value you. Now you have stepped beyond the shadows of the past and realized that you do not need anyone to feel complete. You are the only one who can create value for yourself, and this freedom is the reward for all your efforts. This freedom does not come from avoiding hardship, but from facing it with courage. And when you realize this, you will see that the challenges of the past were merely lessons, helping you become stronger, helping you understand the true value of yourself. Remember, when you free yourself from the dependency on others, you will no longer worry about whether they recognize you or not. You have found freedom within yourself, and this will lead you to a life that is full and meaningful, without needing the approval of anyone else. You no longer need to worry about past relationships or the people who are no longer present in your life. Once you've learned to stand firm on your own, once you realize that appreciation cannot be forced, you will find that those who do not deserve to stay will naturally fade away. And that in itself is freedom. True freedom does not come from severing all connections, but from letting go of relationships that no longer add value to your life. You have learned how to love yourself, how to no longer depend on anyone else to feel complete. When you reach this point, you will understand that true freedom comes from the autonomy of making your own choices. Relationships, the people around you, are merely additions to your life, not the reason for your existence. You do not need anyone to feel happiness, and you need not explain your worth to anyone. What matters is that you know you deserve the best, and you will not settle for anything less. The challenges you have faced are not burdens, but opportunities for growth. Every failure, every wound you have suffered is a lesson that has made you stronger, teaching you what you truly need and want in this life. You will never be the same person again, because each challenge you overcome has transformed you into a better version of yourself. It is in those difficult moments, when you feel most alone, that you find your greatest strength. You realize that you, and only you, are the most reliable companion on this journey. You no longer need anyone else to find peace within yourself. Every step you take is an affirmation of who you are, a display of your confidence in the choices you have made. You do not need to apologize for loving too much, for giving too much. Everything you have done, you did for yourself, because you understand that genuine giving yields lasting value. If others fail to see this, it is their shortcoming, not yours. Remember, you are the only one who can shape your life. You are not a product of circumstances, but the result of the choices you have made. Maturity does not come from waiting for others to change, but from choosing to change yourself to become the best version you can be. And when you look back, you will see that growth was never about leaving anyone behind, but about overcoming yourself, conquering fear and anxiety. You have learned to move through every challenge without leaving a trace, leaving only a stronger, more confident version of yourself in your wake. You have learned that not everyone is meant to walk with you on this path. Those who truly value you will recognize your worth without you having to say a word. Those who do not see it, let them go. You no longer need to worry about holding on to relationships that don't truly matter. Now you understand that true freedom is when you are no longer bound by the expectations of others. You do not live to please anyone. Your happiness does not come from the outside, but from within, from the fact that you have lived a life that is worthy of yourself. When you learn not to depend on the recognition of others, you will realize that everything in life holds meaning only when you understand your own worth. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. The self-respect you build from within is the most important thing, and once you have it, you will never feel lacking or in need of validation from others. The challenges you have faced were never burdens you had to bear, but opportunities for you to forge your character. Every hardship, every fall, is a lesson that has made you stronger. You've learned to face life with calmness, fearlessness, and unwavering resolve. When you understand that inner peace does not come from the outside, but from the way you approach everything, you will realize that you do not need to have everything to feel complete. The tranquility and inner strength you possess are an endless source of energy that helps you overcome every challenge in life. And when you are no longer afraid of loss or loneliness, you will recognize that you have truly grown. Everything in this life can change, but if you stand firm in yourself, if you hold on to your own values, you will always feel complete and never feel lacking. Maturity is when you learn not to cling to the past, not to live in memories that have already passed. You no longer allow what has happened to define your life. You understand that each new day is an opportunity to be reborn, to build a new life and a new version of yourself. If you cannot let go of the past, you will never truly be free. It is only through letting go that you can break free from old ties and the negative emotions you've accumulated. True freedom comes when you leave behind the things that no longer serve your growth. You've learned that freedom does not come from escaping responsibility, but from having the strength to bear it with tranquility. Responsibility is not a burden. It is an opportunity to grow and assert yourself. When you can accept responsibility without anxiety or fear, that is a sign of true maturity. When you stand firm in silence, you have truly triumphed. This silence is not surrender. It is acceptance of the truth, the understanding that everything that happens in life has its reason. You don't need to explain everything to anyone, because the truth is always clear to those who truly care. You have learned how to love without strings attached, without expectation. Love is not possession, it is unconditional giving. When you understand that love is freedom, you will no longer be bound by expectations or demands from others. And when you love without asking for anything in return, you will find life to be lighter and more serene. Finally, when you understand that life is not a race, You will begin to savor every moment, every step of your journey. You no longer have to hurry, no longer have to compete with time. You have learned how to live fully with stillness and patience. You will realize that life is not a race to earn the approval of others, but a journey to discover yourself, to understand your own worth without needing external recognition. Every decision you make, every action you take, is a reaffirmation that you can stand firm on your own and create your own life. When you learn to live without comparing yourself to others, you will understand that true freedom comes from accepting yourself with all your strengths and weaknesses. This freedom is not about escaping or running away, but living fully with responsibility in the freedom to choose your own path. You do not need to live by others' expectations or chase after the standards society imposes on you. Everyone has their own path, and yours is for you to decide. Inner peace comes from living true to your own values and not allowing anyone to change that. Only when you no longer let worries or the expectations of others affect you will you find true peace. When you live without concern for what others think, you will experience true freedom, for you have freed yourself from all attachments. Everything will change, and you must accept that there are things beyond your control. But it is through this acceptance that you will find strength, allowing you to face every change in life with calmness. When you are no longer afraid of the unknown, you will feel the freedom in every moment. True freedom does not come from avoiding hardship, but from facing it with courage and patience. When you realize that difficulties are merely challenges to help you grow, you will no longer fear them. Each challenge is an opportunity to develop and find yourself in new experiences. When you learn to face adversity without letting it defeat you, you will feel the hidden strength within each struggle. You will realize that these very difficulties have helped you rise, helping you discover confidence and inner power you never knew you had. And when you look back, you will see that each time you overcame hardship, not only did you become stronger, but you also gained a clearer understanding of yourself and what you truly want from life. It is through these challenges that your path became clearer, and you realize that the truth can only be found when you face the hardest challenges. When you find strength in silence, you will understand that silence is not avoidance. It is a conscious choice not to be influenced by external forces. Silence is hidden strength, a sign of self-mastery, and the understanding that you can live a full life without needing validation or recognition from anyone else. Finally, you will realize that life is not about chasing perfection, but about living each moment fully, accepting both your flaws and imperfections. You do not need to be perfect to live a life worth living. True freedom and peace come from living in accordance with your true self, without the need to impress anyone else. Once you have found inner freedom, you will realize that life is not a series of perfect conditions, but a journey filled with challenges. Every step you take is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience, to learn how to embrace change without allowing it to shake you. You do not need to seek perfection from the outside. Instead, seek harmony within yourself. You will come to understand that everything you have experienced in the past, whether hardship or challenge, has its value. It is those painful moments that have shaped who you are today, teaching you perseverance and fortitude. When you look back, you will see that every trial has contributed to your growth, helping you discover untapped potential within yourself. Maturity does not come from avoiding difficulties, but from learning how to overcome them without losing yourself in the process. You will no longer fear challenges, for you will know that with each step taken with conviction, you become stronger. The peace you seek is not about avoidance or running away. It is about accepting life as it is. You will learn to embrace the things you cannot change and see every challenge as an integral part of your personal growth. Each time you overcome adversity, you build another layer of protection for your soul. When you come to understand that the truth is always present, you will no longer fear or worry about what lies ahead. You will realize that every event in life has its purpose and role to play. Silence and patience are the tools that help you gain deeper insight into yourself and the world around you. You will no longer worry about what others think of you. You will understand that their judgments cannot alter your essence, and you no longer need to live to please anyone. You will know that your value is not something that can be swayed by the opinions of others. When you live with integrity and self-respect, you will naturally attract those who truly deserve you. True freedom comes when you are no longer bound by the expectations of others. You will no longer feel the need to meet society's or anyone else's demands. You will know that this freedom is not about escape, but the strength to live according to what you believe, to live in a way that reflects what you deserve. Relationships, the people you encounter on your journey, are but part of your path. You do not need to hold on to anyone, nor do you need to worry about whether they will leave. You have learned to love without expectation, and it is this love that has allowed you to find peace within yourself. When you understand that nothing in this life is permanent, you will learn to cherish every moment, every experience you have. Each step is an opportunity to learn, to experience change and growth. You will no longer worry about time slipping away, but instead you will know how to appreciate the beauty of each moment. Finally, you will realize that nothing in life is meaningless. Every event, every challenge has its purpose. And when you learn to accept and confront change, you will find that life is truly a meaningful journey, and you are ready to continue walking this path. When you understand that every moment in life brings a lesson, you will begin to see every difficulty as an opportunity for growth. Nothing is meaningless. Every challenge you face contributes to expanding your understanding and developing qualities you never knew you had. You will realize that true maturity is not the final destination, but an ongoing process of learning. You will no longer live in fear of change. Instead, you will learn to accept change as an essential part of life. Change brings new opportunities, new transformations, and it is through this transformation that your growth happens. When you no longer fear change, you will find yourself freer than ever before. It is precisely in those moments when you feel weakest that you will find your greatest strength. Life's challenges and hardships are not meant to bring you down, but to test your inner strength. Each time you overcome a challenge, you learn to stand taller, more resilient, and you will see that you are growing stronger with each passing day. The silence you choose is not avoidance, but a conscious decision to see things more clearly. Silence is the power to perceive the essence of everything, to understand yourself and the world around you without being distracted by external noise. Silence helps you return to yourself, to find peace within your soul. Each day you will realize that true freedom does not come from being able to do everything you want, but from being able to calmly face what cannot be changed. When you learn to remain composed in all circumstances, you will find freedom within yourself, no longer swept away by the currents of life. It is in simplicity that you will find freedom. You do not need much to feel happy. Happiness comes from appreciating what you have and understanding that material things cannot provide lasting peace. True freedom is found when you live simply, with only what you truly need, and do not let distractions pull you away from your life. Every day is an opportunity for you to renew yourself, to become a better version of yourself. When you understand that nothing in life is permanent, you will learn to cherish every moment, every relationship, and every lesson that life brings. Each new day is a chance for rebirth, a chance to learn and grow. You will no longer view loss as something too painful because you will understand that within every loss there is a new opportunity. When you face loss without regret, you will realize that life is a continuous cycle of new beginnings. Loss is not an end, but the start of a new journey. When you have learned to live a life not dependent on the approval of others, you will feel freer than ever before. You will no longer feel the need to chase after society's or anyone else's expectations. You are the only one who can decide how to live your life, and when you realize this, you will find that your life is full of meaning and freedom. Every step in life is an opportunity for self-discovery, for learning, and for growth. You do not need to search for happiness elsewhere, because true happiness comes from living in alignment with your true self, from living a life of freedom and authenticity, unshackled by external forces. When you understand that life doesn't always unfold as you expect, you will learn to face failures and difficulties without despair. Every failure is not the end, but part of the process of growth. You will realize that maturity comes from the ability to rise after every fall and learn something valuable from each experience. You will no longer see challenges as obstacles, but as opportunities to train and develop yourself. When you learn to face every challenge without fear, You will realize that it is in the most difficult moments that you will find your greatest strength. And from that, you will come to understand that challenges are the greatest teachers in life. The patience you acquire is not about waiting in vain, but preparing for the good opportunities that will come. You will learn to maintain faith in yourself and in life, knowing that all you need is time and perseverance. Everything will come at the right moment when you are ready and strong enough to receive it. You do not need to rush through life because haste only robs you of tranquility. Every decision in life carries significance, and you will learn to live slowly, allowing each moment to become an important part of your journey. Only when you slow down, you will truly appreciate the value of each passing moment. Sometimes, peace comes from learning to let go of what is unnecessary. You cannot carry all the burdens of life, and when you learn to release what no longer serves you, you will feel lighter and freer. Letting go is not weakness. It is the strength to make room for better, newer things. Every step forward in life requires decisiveness and courage. You cannot stand still just because you fear failure. Every decision, whether small or large, reflects your trust in yourself and your capabilities. You must believe that you are strong enough to face any situation and that you can find a way to overcome all obstacles. When you realize that you cannot change the past, you will no longer let it dictate your present life. Each moment is a new opportunity, and you will learn to live fully in the present without worrying about what has already passed. Freedom comes from accepting the past and living wholeheartedly in the now. Each time you face a challenge, you will feel the strength within yourself more deeply. You will no longer feel weak or useless, but instead will realize that you are stronger than you thought. This is what challenges bring. They help you discover the hidden potential within yourself, helping you grow and become more resilient. You will learn that not every situation requires you to win. Sometimes, real victory is not about defeating others or overcoming challenges, but about mastering yourself, maintaining calm and confidence, no matter how difficult things may seem. And when you understand that everything you go through has its purpose, you will no longer feel regret or remorse for what has passed. Every moment, whether happy or sad, brings a valuable lesson. You will have learned to see life differently, where every experience becomes an indispensable part of your journey. When you have learned to face life without fear, you will find that everything around you becomes lighter. You will no longer be swept up by the worries and events outside yourself. You understand that life is not a contest of winning and losing, but a journey for self-discovery and growth. And you are the one who decides the direction of that journey. You will realize that life is not always fair, but that does not mean you must accept injustice. You understand that, instead of becoming angry or resentful, you can choose to respond wisely and calmly. The things that cannot be changed are a part of life, and how you face them is what truly matters. When you realize that every decision you make impacts the future, you become more mindful of your actions. You will no longer leave your fate to chance or allow external factors to dominate your life. Every choice you make is part of your growth, and by living according to your own values, you are creating a future that is truly yours. Inner peace is not the absence of emotions, but the calmness with which you approach everything that happens. You learn to embrace your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. It is this calmness that allows you to maintain clarity and peace, even in the most challenging moments. When you are no longer influenced by the judgments of others, you will find that you can live more freely than ever. This freedom is not about ignoring or being indifferent to the world around you, but about having the strength to live true to yourself without needing validation from anyone else. You understand that true freedom comes from not fearing the unknown. Each new day is an opportunity to learn, to experience, and to grow. When you are no longer afraid of what has yet to come, you will realize that every day is a gift, a chance to live fully. You will no longer wait for others to change or perfect themselves, because you understand that real change only comes from within. Each time you accept yourself, flaws and all, you will see that you grow stronger and more confident. Change does not come from pressure or force, but from understanding and perseverance. Whenever you face difficulty, you will remember that nothing in life is permanent. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, will eventually pass. It is this belief in the temporary nature of all things that allows you to remain calm and maintain faith in life. Ultimately, you will understand that true freedom and happiness do not come from what you possess, but from what you have learned. Life is not about accumulating material wealth, but about accumulating lessons, experiences, and growth within your soul. When you realize this, you will see that you already have everything you need to live a meaningful life. When you have achieved inner peace, you will realize that everything around you is temporary. You will live fully, not weighed down by the past or anxious about the future. You will know how to live fully in the present and let each moment bring joy and fulfillment to yourself. When you realize that everything in life is relative, you will understand that nothing is permanent. What you have today may not be here tomorrow, and it is this awareness that helps you live fully in the present. You will no longer fear losing what you have, but instead you will learn to appreciate it in each passing moment. When you learn to master yourself and not let circumstances dictate your life, you will find that you can change everything within your reach. You will no longer be a victim of your circumstances, but an active creator of the life you desire. This is the power of self-mastery, the strength that enables you to overcome all difficulties and challenges. You will understand that peace comes from accepting things as they are. When you stop trying to change the things that cannot be changed, you will find freedom in accepting life as it is. Peace is not something you can find outside of yourself. It is something you cultivate within through understanding and patience. You no longer need to seek recognition from others. True recognition comes from understanding and appreciating yourself. You have learned that when you live in accordance with your values and principles, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. The people who truly understand you will see your worth without you saying a word. When you understand that life is not a race, you will learn to live with stillness in each step you take. You no longer rush, no longer worry about the future or regret the past. Each step you take is an affirmation that you are living true to yourself, to the values you hold dear. This stillness is not emptiness, but fullness in the soul. When you can live in stillness, you will understand that wealth does not come from what you own, but from being content with what you already have. True prosperity is inner peace, freedom from unnecessary worries. When you let go of what is unnecessary, you will find that life becomes lighter. Every day you will learn to simplify your life, no longer burdened by things that do not add true value. This simplicity is the key to achieving the serenity and peace you seek. You understand that life doesn't always go the way you want, and that is an inevitable part of the journey. The difficult times, the challenges, are not something you should avoid, but an opportunity for you to learn and grow. It is your patience and your ability to face adversity that will help you grow stronger. Maturity is not about avoiding failure, but about learning how to rise after each fall. You will no longer be discouraged by difficulties because you understand that they are temporary and a part of the growth process. When you realize that life is not a game of winning or losing, you will learn to enjoy each moment without the fear of loss. The truth is, you have found contentment within yourself, and when you live true to yourself, you will realize that everything you need is already present in this life. When you realize that the difficulties in life are only temporary, you will learn to accept them without letting them dominate your mind. Challenges are merely opportunities for you to rise, to show your resilience and inner strength. You will no longer fear or worry about what is coming because you have learned to face it with calmness and confidence. True maturity is not when you avoid hardship, but when you face every challenge without losing yourself. You will learn to recognize that every difficulty helps you grow, helping you better understand yourself and the world around you. And it is these challenges that make you stronger, more resilient. You will no longer feel powerless or hopeless in the face of difficulties. Instead, you will see them as an indispensable part of your growth journey. Every time you overcome a challenge, you come closer to maturity and to becoming the person you aim to be. Peace of mind comes from learning to let go of what cannot be controlled. You understand that not everything in life can be changed, and this acceptance helps you live freely, unburdened by unnecessary worries and frustrations. You have learned to live a full life, not with perfection, but with acceptance and love for yourself. When you understand that you do not need to change to please others, you will feel freedom in your soul and no longer be bound by external expectations. You no longer seek validation from others because you understand that true recognition comes from living according to your own nature. When you live sincerely and truthfully, you will realize that those who truly value you will understand and respect you without needing any words. Every day is a new opportunity for you to live fully, to learn, and to grow. You understand that nothing is permanent, and because of this, you do not let anything hinder you from living in the present. True freedom comes from appreciating every moment, every experience life brings. You have come to understand that nothing in life can defeat you if you know how to stand firm. You learn not to let external factors affect your peace of mind and inner calm. And when you can maintain composure amidst the storms, you will feel the true power within you. Every challenge in life is a valuable lesson. You learn to face every difficulty without complaining or blaming, seeing them only as opportunities for growth. You understand that life is not always fair, but what matters is learning to accept and overcome every obstacle. And when you look back, you will see that it was the challenges, the failures, that made you a stronger and more resilient person. You will no longer fear or worry about what is to come, but instead you will embrace life with gratitude and calmness. You will realize that in life, you cannot control everything, but you can control how you respond to what happens. What matters is not the event itself, but how you perceive and deal with it. When you understand this, you will no longer be swept away by negative emotions, but instead, you will live calmly and wisely, knowing how to maintain peace within your soul. You learn not to let external factors disturb your mind. Everything in life may change, but only you can decide how to face those changes. When you understand that everything is temporary, you will no longer cling to things that cannot be held on to, but instead you will live with what you have and find peace in it. True peace comes from accepting things as they are. You do not need to change everything in life to feel content. What matters is understanding that contentment does not come from having everything, but from accepting and loving what you already have. When you can do this, you will find that life becomes much lighter and easier. You will no longer feel tired or stressed by challenges because you understand that they are a part of life. Challenges are not something to avoid, but opportunities to learn and grow. It is through these challenges that you will discover the strength and potential within yourself. You have learned to live at a slower pace, not being swept up by the rush of time or external pressures. Every moment has its value, and you learn to appreciate each of those moments. You no longer rush, no longer fear the future or regret the past. Everything happens at the right time, and you accept that with gratitude. When you learn to live true to yourself, you will no longer feel the need to change in order to please others. True freedom comes when you no longer depend on the approval or praise of anyone. You live for yourself, and when you live authentically, you will feel both free and happy. Every day you will realize that the small things in life hold greater significance than you thought. It is the simple moments, the little joys, that make a life truly fulfilling. You learn to look at everything more deeply, to understand that happiness is not a destination, but the journey you are on. You will no longer fear the uncertainty of the future because you understand that everything can change at any time. You learn to live peacefully, accepting whatever comes and goes, and always being ready to embrace change. Life is a long journey, and you have learned how to walk it with steadiness and resilience unaffected by the storms that may arise.